In the last video, we saw how we created this entire homepage of this roofing website literally from scratch, right? I was showing it to you as to how to create the layouts, the copy, the structures, the images, right? This entire thing basically, but we were only able to complete everything in the desktop mode, right? So I hope you got an idea as to how to create these kind of stunning websites in GoHighLevel, literally from a white canvas, right? And in this video, I'm going to show you a very important part, which is how to make sure that these pages are 110% mobile optimized. As you might know, mobile usage is on the peak. People are using mobile for literally everything, so the traffic that's probably going to come to your site or your landing page or your website or your funnel is going to be from mobile, right? Almost 80%, 80 to 90, depending on which industry you are in or which geography and which kind of people you target. The chances of this percentage being higher is there, right? So as you can see, in the mobile version, we are currently using iPhone 14 Pro Max in order to check. And as you can see, this is how everything looks, right? So I'll just show it to you as to how everything looks here, right? This is entirely built on the mobile version, right? Everything looks stunning, attractive, right? So yeah, everything is mobile friendly, so anybody who comes via any kind of online channels via their smartphones, they will be able to see everything beautifully in this mobile view, right? Everything is seamless, everything is premium, looks fantastic, and that's exactly what we're going to cover in this video. So make sure you watch the video till the end. And more, for most of you who haven't yet subscribed to the YouTube channel, kindly consider subscribing it, because this is something that's going to be useful. Everything that I share here is basically based on my experience of working with businesses 6, 7, and figure across 12 plus countries, right? If you want to know more about me, go to pritambhadra.com. All the links are in the description, so make sure that you check them out in case you want to come and discuss about your projects. All right. So as you can see, this looks absolutely stunning, but then it will look even better if we get this 100% mobile optimized. So let's get that done. Let me turn this off. Okay, so this is what we were using last time. This is what we had, right? And it looks pretty nice, looks pretty neat and clean. But then if I have to show it to you in the mobile version, it doesn't look good at all, right? This is not what we are looking for. Instead, this is what we are aiming to achieve. All right, this is what we're aiming to achieve, right? If you see the front section here, we have this logo on the left hand side, beautiful logo. We have this hamburger menu with this navigation bar with this drop down of services. Looks beautiful. The branding looks great. If you scroll down, you'll be able to see, I mean, everything above the fold is designed to convert. For example, whether it's the logo, whether it's the hamburger menu bar, whether it's the, as you can see, the trust, which is 4.9, Google reviews. I also call these as trust badges, right? From the headline, sub headline, we have the main buttons, we have the video at the background that's constantly running. We also have this trust badge, which is trusted seller, 1550 reviews from trusted customer, and also a slider literally that people can interact with. That's pretty amazing, right? So everything that somebody needs in order to make a decision to proceed forward, which is to book a call, explore more of your services, is available here. That's what makes it high converting. You have to understand as to what the customer is thinking, how can they make a decision when they land on your page or on your website, and this is what you need to understand. Then we have these kind of mobile friendly structures. We have the images on the top, right, where we have beautiful text here. Everything is mobile friendly, not too much, right? And then we also have changed the layout quite a bit. Now if you would have understood regarding this section here, this is quite different. As you can see, this is more like a background here, but then due to the different design of the real estate available on a mobile screen, we are designing it like this so that we can get the view of the hero image, which is here the roof, as well as have the call to action and the text here with the button, so that it also makes sense. Same got this one as well. As you can see, we still see the video of the person working on the roof, and as well as everything just looks seamless right from start here as well. Everything here is center aligned, looks very neat and clean. Same goes for this as well, right? Looks very neat and clean. So this sections are specifically designed for the mobile view in order for it to work this way, otherwise it won't work, right? And that's exactly what we're going to cover in this entire tutorial. Okay, I hope this part was important. I hope you understood that. And then let's proceed forward to making everything 100% mobile friendly. So now this is what you have with yourself. This is what you have, which is your desktop version. you click on this particular mobile mode icon, right? That takes you to the mobile mode, and you see everything is, a mess, right? Nothing looks the way I showed you guys. All right, let's just keep this in handy. All right, so the first things first we need to do is we need to change the first section. So we're always going to go by section so that you can understand better, right? So let me go to the mobile desktop version. The one thing I'll show it to you is to always convert these sections into into a global section. All right, so when you select a section, on the left hand side you will be able to see this green color save section, right? Just click on that green color save section, and then you can name it. So for example, you name it roofing header, right? And then you select it as global section. So you have the option to make it a template which you can use on other pages, other funnels, or you can make it a global section. Now, just click on global section and save it. I won't save it because I already have it saved, but yeah, that's what I'm saying to you. The reason for why you should be doing this is because a global section means that it's global, which basically means that anything you change on any one of these global sections, and wherever you've applied this global section anywhere on your particular funnel website, everything is going to change instantly. All right. That's what the global section is all about. So it's very hassle free. But let me tell you one thing, it only works on sections. It doesn't work on this element, this text, this button, any kind of graphic. No, it only works on sections. So anything that the section contains will have that change occurred on any other global section pages. All right. So I hope that was clear to you because it's very important yet fundamental. Okay, now let's move ahead and see as to what we need to change. Okay, for the first things first, we need to check as if the navigation menu, whether it's working fine or not. It's working fine, so we have made the changes. I'll just show it to you as to how you can make the changes here. So when you click on the hamburger menu here, and this literally, the menu drops down, scroll down on the right hand side, right, and you will be able to see menu configuration. Do you see that? In menu configuration you have something called as menus here, right? And then you have background color when you have menus here as well, and all these colors are changed based on mobile view. You'll be able to see there are certain text which mentions mobile pop-up background, right? You will be able to see these kind of text which basically show that these are for mobile version, mobile background color white. If I change it to, let's say, blue, then everything is going to change. For example, I just show it to you. You see that the color got changed. So I'm just going to make sure this is, sorry, this is white. All right. So when you change anything here, everything gets changed. Submenu is where everything gets changed on a submenu level, right? For example, if you want to change the hover color to, let's say, orange, it's going to change. Okay, it was not pretty evident. Yeah, blue, then it gets changed to blue. Hope that makes sense. All right. So yeah, so I need to just change it back to orange. Got it. All right. So that's basically how you do it. Now, when that is completed, right, we don't really need this subheadline and this button, so I'm going to remove that. I won't really delete it, I'll just unhide it. Okay, that's the key difference here. A lot of you guys have seen deleting it and then re-adding it. Don't do it. Just click on the second column, which contains both the button and the text here. Now, what happens is when you have a button or a text enclosed into this column, and you just may unhide this particular column, that's it. When you make the visibility turned off for the mobile version and you go to the mobile, it's just gone, right? Then we are going to work on the next section here, which is the desktop section. Now the hero sections basically. Now the hero section is too complicated in order to make changes right on the same section, right? GoHighLevel as of now has some kind of flexibility in order to make, in order to decide as to what's mobile friendly and what's, desktop friendly, both in the same section. As you can see here, this icon, do you see that? You have desktop and mobile and all of that stuff, which is similar for the mobile version as well. But it doesn't really change everything. And because of which, because I, as a funnel designer, as a website specialist, I want the full control on creating my funnels and sites. So because of which, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on duplicate. I'm literally going to duplicate this entire section, right? I'm going to select on the first one, which is the first hero section. I'm going to go to visibility here in advanced section, and I'm going to make it only visible for desktop mode. I'm going to turn the mobile version off. The second section, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to the advanced section, and then I'm going to turn off the desktop version. Now, you'll just see that the moment I turn off the desktop version, it's going to instantly go to the mobile view. So let me just turn this off, and you see that section is gone because we are currently in the desktop view. The moment we go into the mobile section, we still see that particular section. Now there's only one. The reason for this is because, do you see that icon here, this mobile icon? This represents that this is only for mobile mode. You can also re-verify when you click on this section and go to advanced settings. You will be able to see that only the mobile version is turned on and the visibility for desktop is turned off, right? So make sure that you play with these kind of settings because they are very important in order to showcase as to what looks good on the desktop and what looks better on the mobile version. All right. First things first, what exactly we're going to make change? We're going to make change for the spacing, for the text, for the alignment, for the button size, and also for this particular hover effect, right? Now, let me make these changes, okay? First things first, we're going to click in here, set the section, and we see that we have too much of spacing here. Now, as you can see, these margins are mobile friendly. So even if I had the same section, I'll still be able to make independent changes. The reason why I made duplicate sections is because there's too much of these kind of sections which are always available. So I just don't want to complicate too much, right? Or even if I'm delivering a project to my client, I'll just let them know that, hey, you make any changes on the desktop mode, just go ahead and make the same changes on the mobile mode. Because if I have complicated it too much by making a few things on desktop, a few things on mobile, then the customer will go haywire thinking about what exactly I need to change and will always be in confusion, which I do not want. So because of which, I'm just going to make it simple and ask my client or anybody who's purchasing my templates or taking our work, hey, make changes on the desktop, make changes on the mobile, or just verify it because some sections will remain the same. Doesn't matter in desktop or mobile, and some will differ. So instead of 100, just make it 10 pixels because we want the maximum real estate available above the fold, right? Because above the fold is where the transaction happens. This is where the most important part, most valuable part of this, that the attention is. So I'm just going to change on that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure the width is restrained. So I'm going to make sure it's like 400 something, right? Okay, I think 400, just type 4,000. Okay. Right, looks good, but let's see if I can reduce it to 350, yeah, or probably 310, and just make it center aligned. I think that will be better. Regarding the text here, let's make it center aligned and let's make it 34, right? Looks good. Let me just change this text to this. I think it looks even better, but let me just make it around 38 just to see what fits well. I think this fits really well. I'm just going to make it 42 just so that we can have a bolder statement. Now, if you see the visibility, this kind of is not that great in mobile, especially. So I'm going to select the entire desktop, entire hero section of this, and then I'm going to go to the background video opacity. I'm going to make this heavy fade. This will make sure that even in the mobile screen, it's visible. So this one, which is the subheadline, you can see this is 18. I'm going to make it 16, right? It's always a good practice to make any subheadline or any kind of content in 16 is just an ideal, right? So I'm just going to suggest you on that. Okay, so once we've completed this, I'm going to make sure the buttons here are not left aligned, rather center aligned. And I also want to make sure that the shapes of these buttons are the same so that they look congruent, right? For this, I'm going to go select the general button. I'm going to click on the center here. And then what I'm going to do is, as you can see, the size here is 18. I'm going to turn this to 15. Looks good. Same goes for the explore our services as well. I'm going to make this 15 and then I'm going to make this center aligned. All right. The only thing that you can see here is that explore our services is shorter in nature compared to the button which is book a free consultation. And the reason for that is because book a free consultation has more number of letters and text compared to the one here. So that's how the button automatically adjusts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just manually change it to, let's say, 40. Same goes for this as well. Okay, I think that's a bit too much. So I'm just going to make it like 35. And then I'm going to do the same here on the desktop version. Sorry, on the left and right side of padding. I think it looks great. Now I'm going to take the image here, the truss bed. I'm going to make sure that it's center aligned. I see a lot of spacing in there. I'm just going to reduce all of them. Literally, I really do not want any kind of spacing in there. So that needs to be reduced. And then I think that's good. It's 50. I'm just going to make it like 45. I just don't want it to be too big. Okay. Now, a very important part here is that when you see it in the desktop mode, you will be able to see that we have these two, mini sliders available just below the truss bar. Now, this is just to make sure that people see the value of it, people see the result right on top of the above the fold on the desktop mode. However, in the mobile, it just doesn't make sense to have both. Rather, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the images from the second one and literally add it on the first one. All right. So I'm going to just select this. I'm going to copy this particular image storage here, as you can see, and then go to the top one, which is this one, right? And then I'm going to add a slide here, which is select the fourth one, and then literally paste the image like this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, you know, make sure that all my testimonial reviews or clients or whatever you want to call it, right, is still getting added, but then it just doesn't look repetitive in nature, right? That's what I'm trying to say here. All right. So we have the third section as well, the third image. So I'm going to go to the first one again, and then I'm going to add another slide, and I'm going to add that particular image in here, right? Looks great. And then I'm free to delete this one, right? And I'm also going to delete the extra space that's available here so that it looks good enough. All right. The next thing we do is you can see a lot of spacing in here, right? This is because of the controlled height and width that we have set here. I'm just going to make it 0. I'm also going to make this one 0, right? Let's say I make it 300. That should be good. I think 300 is too much. Let's make it like 270. All right. Looks nice. I think it's good to go. I also want to add some spacing in here. So for that, I'm going to select the column. Okay, it's very important. Understand this. I'm going to select the column so that the pressure comes from the sides and not internally. All right. So I'm going to add it here, which is 20 pixels, and I'm going to add 20 pixels to this one as well. So it's going to get squeezed up and restrained into the particular height and width. Okay. Now this looks much better and very similar to what we were expecting. All right. This looks nice. Let's proceed for the second section, which is this section. Now, one thing if you remember that we use this particular image and added 20 pixels of negative margin in this, right? This isn't a good thing for the mobile version, else it will go out of the screen, right? Which makes it look very, very unprofessional. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to keep it this way. I don't need to duplicate it literally, right? But the one thing I'll do is I'm just going to click on the negative margin, make it 0, literally, just that. Because GoHighLevel provides some kind of flexibility when you create the same sections for desktop and mobile mode. I'll recommend them making changes to literally everything so that we don't really have to duplicate everything out there. But then, we'll wait for them to make those changes. But till then, this is how we're going to proceed forward to make it simpler. Instead of 45, I'm going to make it 28, right? Instead of the sub headline, which is 18, as I mentioned, I'm going to make it 16, right? You also see the bullets have some spacing on the left. Again, we want to make sure that we are using the most of the any kind of spacing available on the mobile version, because every inch, every centimeter really, really matter. Or if I have to say it in technical terms, every pixel matters, right? So I'm just going to make it 16, and I'm just going to make sure that this looks beautiful, nice, and left aligned. All right, as you can see, it looks perfect. Now this trust badge was of 310 width. I'm going to make sure that the other one, which is available here, is of also the same width. Perfect, right? Now it looks really nice, it looks beautiful, but we have a challenge now on the other section. This does not look professional at all. Just look at it, right? I mean, even if I change the headline here to 27, it still doesn't look that great because you can hardly see the roof. And there's this images scrolling effects available here and then there, spacing. It's a ruckus. Now, what you should be doing if you just go here, then look at this. This is a very pretty, neat, clean section which showcases the roof in a very neat, clean manner because this is the hero image here. Again, the hero image basically what basically people are looking for. So this is the hero image here, and everything is just so clean. So here it's an absolute necessity for us to duplicate the entire thing. Make sure that the first section is only visible on desktop, the second section is only visible on mobile, and then go back and then literally, like literally, right? Select this particular section, go to general, you have the image here, literally delete it. Delete the entire image, all right? We don't need all of that. Instead, I'm going to fill it up with the colors that we have on the top, which is that kind of light green color. And as you can see, this is currently filled with that particular green color. Now, what I'm going to do here is, let me just make sure everything is center aligned because I'm going to add the hero image later on. Also, let me make the divider also center aligned, right? We also have the sub headline here, which is 18. So let me get that to 16 and make sure any kind of line changes is changed here. So let me get that corrected as well. Looks nice. Now we have the button here. Let me just make it center, right? And instead of 18, let me make it 15. Perfect. Looks nice. Regarding these kind of sliders, we don't really need them because we already had this one on the top. I think that should be good. It's specifically built for the desktop mode here because it just looks better. So that's the reason why. There's no other reason for this. So let me just delete this entire thing. Now what I can have is I can create a one column for this specifically, and then let me just make sure that the bottom section is literally 0 because we want to showcase that this roof is literally a part of the bottom section. Do you see that? It looks really nice in there. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that the spacing is 0. So any kind of spacing that you can find on the left, right, and bottom, just feel free to make them 0. Same goes for the column 2. There are a lot of hidden spacings, so you might not be able to understand initially, but then when you add the image, you kind of figure out as to why the image has some spacing. But then these are called as white spaces, or just remove them. All right, perfect. Let's turn off the image here. Right, once the image is turned off, click on the image options and let's take the roof. So whatever we had at the background, you need to export it just in the roof format. So here, as you can see, I think we should take this one. No, let me just check. Okay, it's a double roof here. So this is the double roof. Yeah, looks really nice, looks really attractive. And here you go. Right, now comes the professional and quality roofing, which is the video section. Again, for this section, do you think we need to create a separate individual desktop and mobile version? What do you think? Basically, you don't really need for this because in this section, right, we do not have any complexity as such. So from 100 pixel, I'm going to make it 20. I'm also going to make sure that the 20 pixel on the bottom is also straightforward there. I'm just going to change it for the desktop mode here, which is going to be 28. I'm going to make sure this is centrally aligned. I'm going to have the sub headline, which is 16. That should be good. I'm going to have the button at the center and then make the text here, which is 15. All right, we also have the trust badge here. This trust badge is right aligned. Let's make this left aligned, and let's make sure that the size here is 45, just so that it doesn't look too big. Right, now let's come to these particular icons, basically show as to what kind of quality roof servicing you guys provide. So we can really see that this sub headline is at 28. I'm going to make sure this is 25 at max, right? And then the content here should be at 16, right? So let me proceed forward and make every of the headline as 25, right? So it just helps me better complete the project. And then the rest of it, let's make it 16. Perfect. The one more thing I would like to do is here. I think I don't really want to make this center aligned because I think it looks nice this way. But I think it's too much on the left and there's too much space on the right side. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to select this particular column. I'm going to go into the padding, and then instead of 10, I'm going to make it 20. That's it. That's all. It just gives a little more room to breathe, a little bit of more corner, spacing to handle, right? I'll do the same for the second column here. I'm just going to make sure from 10 to I make it 20, and these are going to be from 25. So that's going to be taken care of. 25, 25. Looks good. Now let me take care of these and let me make it 16, which are the content for every one of these features or services we are providing. Perfect. Looks good. We also want to take care of the spacing here. We have like 40 pixels from one column to the other. I want to make it literally 0. Right, looks like now everything is arranged in one line, right? So that's taken care of. Okay, now we have this section, which is again an important section here. We basically show them as to how the process is going to be, right? We don't really need to duplicate this entire thing. The only thing that I will be duplicating here is this particular headline, and then I'm going to add this headline on top of it. This is going to be only for available for the mobile view, so I'm going to remove that from desktop, and this will be removed from mobile view. The reason for that is very simple. I want the headline to come first before the image. So for that, this is the reason why I make the image here, which is again only for mobile, and sorry, the text here, which is only for mobile, the image here, and then all the text that's following that. So let's change the spacing here. So from 48, I'll just make it 26, right? Make it center aligned, make it 16. Let me make sure that the spacing is totally removed on mobile version. I think this three, pointers or three steps, they look really nice. I just want to make it center aligned. So I'm going to select this image feature. I'm going to go to the alignment here and just make it center aligned. All right. This is basically how you make things look amazing on mobile. And then we also have spacing, which is 100 pixel at the bottom. I'm just going to turn this to 20. That's it. All right. This makes the entire section mobile friendly without really duplicating the entire section apart from this headline. All right. Now comes the next section, which is again a very tricky section here because as you can see here, this entire image is basically a background. Now, if you continue with that approach, do you think it's going to look nice? It's going to look horrible. All right. This is not how you do it professionally. The way you do it professionally is very simple. You click on this entire section, literally duplicate it. Make sure the top section is only desktop enabled or desktop visible. The other one is only mobile visible. All right. Now, the one thing I'd like to teach you here is since this is a background view, this is how it looks. But when you have roof like this is basically the hero image. This is what is going to attract people's eye. And I'm going to make sure that this is only enabled on the desktop, only it's visible clearly only on the mobile version. All right. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the mobile version. Again, I'm going to strip off the entire image at the background. Right. Right. Now understand this. The background here contains of two things. One is these, this brown color tiles, and then this is the roof, right? The roof is the hero image, the tiles is the background. So you're going to export an image which is going to be only the tiles, and then you're going to export the roof separately on this. All right. So let me just show it to you. As you can see, we have this roof, this tiles here, just the tiles, right? So let me make sure I fix you know, the image options as full center, and then let me make this 20, and then let me make the text from 58 to 28. Right, looks good. Make it center aligned, and let's make sure these kind of icons 16 and these 16 again, and these are 16 again. Right, and in the center I'm going to make it in center align. I'm going to make it 16. I'm going to make this center. Right, yeah. Now we have so many columns here which we wanted on our desktop, but we don't really need them on our mobile. So I'm just going to remove it. I'm just going to keep the last one intact because similarly, the way we created a section like this is what I'm going to create a section for my roof here. Right. So let's make sure that we have all the spacings, everything literally removed to 0, especially for the left, right, and bottom. Let's just make everything 0. Perfect. Let's just add an image here. Let's make sure the image also has 0 spacing. You will be able to see the way we are reducing the spacing. You just can see that there is some 10 pixels here. So I just want to make sure that those are gone. I don't want any kind of spacing in there. Right. Okay. Now let me add a particular image of the roof here. Okay. As you see here, this is how the desktop was, right? And this is how the mobile view is. Now, this is exactly how you make changes on the desktop versus on the mobile. Both can be very different depending on the complex layout you're choosing to do. I see a lot of people where the desktop mode looks really nice, but the mobile version looks really, really crappy. And this is the reason people don't put additional effort in order to make it looks nice. So if you're putting a lot of effort to make the desktop version look really, really attractive, put at least 40% of that additional effort to make the mobile version friendly as well. Okay, so if that's taken care of, let's proceed with the testimonial section. I do not think we need any kind of changes, especially on the desktop and mobile. What do you think, guys? Right? Because if you see here, everything literally is very segmented, is very clear, neat, and doesn't really have much interference in terms of desktop and mobile view. For this, what we can do is we can just literally select this, make sure that we are in 20 pixels here, just make the changes here to 27, right? Let's make sure the testimonials here, the subheadline here is 16, right? The images and here, let's make it center aligned. And the text here, let's make it center aligned, and let's make this a bit smaller, which is like 85, right? And let's just make it center aligned, and let's make this 15. Looks nice. Now let's figure out the testimonial. The testimonial doesn't look great at all. It kind of looks like it's squeezed towards the left, which we want to change here. So I'm going to select this entire column here, and you can see that we have 30 pixels on top, 30 pixels at the bottom, but no padding on the left or the right hand side. So what we're going to do is we're going to add 20 pixels on the left, 20 pixels on the right. As simple as that. We're going to change the text size from 22 to 18, and we're going to change this main content from 16 to 14. And as you can see, this is an image feature, so the image will always by default going to be on the center. So for that, I'm just going to click on that and make it center aligned just so that it looks nicer, right? Just like this, you can make changes. So I'm just going to select the other column here, make sure that, as you can see, there is literally no spacing in between them. It looks like both of these are crashing on top of each other, which is what I don't prefer. Honestly, nobody prefers that. So let's select this particular column, right? And then just add 40 pixels of spacing. Right, once you've added that, let's add 20 pixels of spacing on either sides. Yeah, looks nice. Let's change the text here, which is from 22 to 18, right? And then let's change the main text here from 16 to 14. Let's click on the image feature, right? And then, yeah, that's pretty much the same. So this is pretty much the same for this as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically delete this particular column and duplicate this. Since we have already made sure that this column was mobile optimized, so this column will also be automatically mobile optimized. Let me just show it to you. Yeah, looks nice. Perfect. Now let's go to the mobile, the FAQ section. Again, a very important section. We have 100 pixels here. From 100 pixel, let's make it 20. And let's make sure the FAQ here is around 28. Right, let's change the subheadline from 18 to 16, and that should be good. However, this image here, which is the trust badge, let's constrain it to 310 pixels on the width. The buttons doesn't look great, so I'm just want to make sure them center aligned and then adjust the spacing just so that they look nice. The text here again is not great, so I'm going to make it 16 is too much. Let's make it 15. I'll make it 15. Same goes for explore our services, and then I'm going to add additional you know padding here on the left and on the right hand side. Make sense, right? As you can see, GoHighLevel has this autosave feature which is constantly saving, which I really like. So yeah, as you can see, it's kind of constantly saving it. I really like it now. I just at least don't have to worry about things getting out of control when I lose it somehow. So it's 16 here. I'm going to make some changes here. I think this is pretty much it, right? So that's basically how you complete everything in the deck in the mobile view, and you make the complex desktop version into a simplified mobile version. Let me show it to you. So we are previewing the URL here. Again, you saw everything here on the desktop mode, which is perfectly fine, but let's go to the mobile mode now. Right, looks perfect, looks great, right? Everything is seamless here. Sorry, I just have the triggers added to it, so that's the reason why you're seeing this. But yeah, this is how you're seeing this. Everything looks neat, clean, beautiful, centralized, mobile. You remember this complex structure? We changed this. This looks nice. You remember the spacing we had in here? That looks nice now. The text here on the top looks nice now. Everything is center aligned. This section beautifully looks nice now. We can see the hero image, which is the roof clean and proper way. The spacing here looks amazing. This testimonial cards looks great. The FAQ looks great, and the footer also looks great. Right. This is basically how you make sure that everything is 110% desktop mobile optimized. Right. I hope that you like this video. If you want to learn more about our services, go to PritamBhadra.com. The link is mentioned in the description box, right? And yep, let's wait for our next videos to come where you're going to showcase your rest of the pages of the website, which is like about services and a specific service appointment contact page, right? So it's going to be complete course, so it's going to be amazing. If you haven't watched the previous video, make sure you check the link at the description. It's available there, right? And yeah, if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon on the next tutorial.